Terminator, the James Cameron sci-fi cyberpunk series, has returned once again, but to everyone's surprise, in an anime form of all things, and to my surprise, it actually kind of slaps.
Say the line, Bart!
Stay here. I'll be back.
Hello everyone, I'm Finn. Welcome back to Finn Films. Join me today as I am discussing the Terminator Anime, the anime with a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, Terminator Zero. So Terminator is one of those kind of classic franchises, classic IPs that feels like it's been constantly kind of chasing its glory days, similar in a lot of ways to Star Wars. I mean, the first Terminator movie is like a f***ing classic. James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, low budget film, great storyline, plot twists galore, and I mean, this film is a banger. Terminator 2 as well, I think, manages to kind of capture a lot of the magic of the first Terminator film of the series, this time with a higher budget and a more kind of fleshed out storyline, because they didn't expect this film to be nearly as popular as it ended up being. But from here on, it really starts to go downhill in the Terminator extended kind of media universe. From here, they would go on to make 4 more Terminator movies, most recently with a Terminator movie in 2019, and with each one of these movies, it really felt like a dog chasing its own tail, an attempt to try to recapture the magic of the original Terminator, but ultimately they fell short every time, and many of these movies really just felt like a cheap attempt to kind of retell the same story we've seen hashed out over and over again from the first few Terminator movies, again a la Star Wars and what has become of it under Disney. I mean, there's so many, cool, interesting stories they could have told, in the Terminator universe, the story of, the survivors in the post-nuclear holocaust of Judgment Day, or really, anything that they could have done new, except they continue to recycle the Sarah Connor character and storyline in what felt like their best Disney impression. However, it seems like finally the Terminator franchise might actually be saved with its newest work in kind of the Terminator extended media universe with Production IG's Terminator Anime, Terminator Zero, what honestly might be the best piece of Terminator media we've seen since the Terminator 2 movie all the way back in 1991. So for those of you unfamiliar with the Terminator lore, the Terminator universe, the Terminator plotline, let me give you the speed run real quick. So basically in the Terminator world, humans created an AI weapon system known as Skynet, this AI superintelligence becoming sentient and gaining self-awareness. Wow, isn't that super topical in the world that we live in today in 2024? The humans, realizing that this AI, Skynet, had gained sentience, had become self-aware, attempted to deactivate it in fear of what the AI might do. Skynet then had come to the conclusion that humans were a threat to its existence, so it retaliated by launching a nuclear attack all across the world in a day known as Judgment Day in the Terminator universe, basically starting a kind of post-apocalyptic world. However, Judgment Day did not wipe out all of humanity, while it did kill a large percentage of them. Skynet, still perceiving the remaining humans around the world as a threat, started creating machines such as Terminators and Hunter-Killers, these nearly unstoppable machines that were disguised as humans, and then it sent them out into the world to hunt down the remaining humans and to stop the resistance force that had gathered on the planet. Skynet also invented time travel and would regularly send Terminators back in time to the past to kill various humans in an attempt to kind of ensure its victory in the present and in the future. This kind of idea of time travel and Terminators going back in time is largely the plotline of most of the Terminator films. And I mean, it is a pretty solid one. I mean, we have themes like AI sentience, something that's extremely topical in today's society with the rise of AI, a crazy sci-fi world combined with post-apocalyptic vibes, themes of humanity and self-awareness and survival, questions of humanity's role on the Earth and how we are kind of a potentially a major threat to our own planet and how we've realized through our many technological advancements and our selfish nature that we are basically milking this planet for all of its resources. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself right now, but there's a really good line in the Terminator anime where an AI asks one of our main characters what makes humans so different from every other species on the planet, and the AI's answer is war. The fact that we as humans, ever since really our creation as a species and our kind of creations of societies, have constantly gone to war with one another, something that very much differentiates us from like all other life on this planet. Terminator is great, and in a lot of ways it's been a big inspiration for like many modern tropes we see in like modern sci-fi and like modern kind of cyberpunky-esque series. I mean, Detroit Become Human, as an example, like is just reeking of themes from Terminator. So then, this brings us to Terminator Zero, the Terminator anime, and I'm just gonna say up front, I think this show bangs. I mean, literally, it bangs. Like, goddamn, is it violent at times. Terminator Zero was animated by Production IG, a company that has made such famous anime such as Psycho Pass, fantastic anime, Haikyuu, also amazing anime, and what might be my favorite anime of 2024 so far, Kaiju number 8. In my mind, this studio was like probably one of the most perfect studios to do the Terminator anime. They've shown with like I said, anime such as Kaiju 8 and Psycho Pass a really like skilled ability to animate like action, dystopian, sci-fi type anime. They are able to create some really awesome, like aesthetically pleasing, really intense, high octane, like action, like violent action scenes, which I will say right now is probably the biggest highlight of Terminator Zero as an anime. So Terminator Zero follows the broad plot of the Terminator series that I laid out before, but I do have to give them a ton of credit for approaching this story in kind of like a new way with a new set of characters, not including the likes of Sarah Connor or even avoiding a what I thought was almost assured Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo. Terminator Zero follows the story of a widower scientist in Japan named Malcolm Lee. Malcolm has received visions or dreams of the horror that is to come with Skynet on Judgment Day, the day that the AI will gain sentience and drop nukes all across the world. In an attempt to stop them, Malcolm is developing his own AI named Kokoro, which he believes will have the power to stop Skynet and prevent this Judgment Day and this post-apocalyptic future. He has devoted his life to this project and to save humanity, and in doing so, he has been neglecting his 3 young children, Kenta, Reika, and Hiro, largely depending on his housekeeper Misaki to take care of them. The story branches between 2 timelines, Malcolm's present in 1997 and the future post-Judgment Day in 2022. Like I said in the beginning of this video, Terminator has time travel, and so of course we had to do a little bit of time travel in this anime. In the anime in 2022, Skynet creates a Terminator and then sends it back to 1997 to assassinate Malcolm and prevent him from finishing his AI. What Skynet didn't plan for, though, was that the resistance fighters in this future would manage to co-opt this time travel technology and then send their own soldier back to 1997 in order to save Malcolm. This soldier being a badass woman named Aiko. This then is the overarching kind of plotline storyline of the Terminator anime, Malcolm and his children being hunted by this unstoppable Terminator from the future, with this Giga Chad female soldier Aiko trying to save them and protect them at all costs in order to prevent her post-apocalyptic future from actually happening. And I have to say, as far as like action scenes go and like animation quality go, this show slaps pretty freaking hard. I mean, they hit you with this action immediately right away in this anime. The first 5 minutes of this show are an action-packed roller coaster as we watch Aiko fight for her life to escape this Terminator in the future in this really well done like chase scene that really just reeks of horror vibes and just like feels straight up like a scene out of a horror movie. The action and the action scenes are really where I think this show shines. The animations look fantastic. The fight scenes are super well crafted. It's dark, it's gritty, it's violent, and to me, this aspect of the show, I think, really lives up to the many themes of the original Terminator movies, and I think is a really good successor, especially in an anime format. As far as like the story, the substance of the story itself goes, I think that it is a new and interesting take on the kind of classic Terminator storyline, adapting this kind of classic themes of the Terminator storyline, but doing so in a new setting with new characters. But it very much still is Terminator and does recycle some of those kind of Terminator themes in like its broad kind of like plot structure, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Overall, I do think this is a pretty good show. I had relatively low expectations for the Terminator anime, but it definitely surprised me, and I think it is a very good action anime, like sci-fi flick, with some really good character development and some fun plot twists along the way, while invoking these same kind of dark, gritty vibes of the Terminator universe. It's one of those anime where you can really just kind of like sit back and enjoy some crazy cool like action scenes and some anime sequences, and not really think like too hard about the story or what's going on like within the characters on the screen. Personally, I think that this is the best piece of like Terminator media since the second Terminator movie back in 1991, and I think that this show continues a really cool trend that Netflix is doing of combining like the anime storytelling format and anime like, you know, animation style with like popular IPs that would also work really well in an anime. For example, Castlevania, even though technically I guess this really isn't an anime, but like you get the idea. Netflix really continues to impress me with its anime originals and really just animated originals. They seem to have really gone like all in on the intense kind of like action combat anime-esque like style with anime such as like Baki Grappler, King and Ashura, Garudon the Wolf, and now Terminator Zero. I definitely recommend giving this show a watch, like if you're a Terminator fan or just like a fan of intense like action anime, sci-fi anime, like post-dystopian like type anime, cyberpunky anime. I will definitely say I came in with some like relatively low expectations for the Terminator anime, and it definitely surprised me. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the Terminator anime. If you've watched it all, do you like it? Do you not like it? As always, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as that is the easiest way to help support me, and it really does go a long way in helping to put this video into the algorithm and helping this channel continue to grow. If you did enjoy this video, then why don't you check out some of my other content, anime content on screen now. As always, guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Until next time, stay safe out there. Peace. Love. Haru.